What are you watching?
What are you watching? Elodie, le film!
I'll never forget the day I stepped into the Lucida Beach Hotel Kemer, thinking it would be a tranquil getaway from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Unfortunately, my expectations were shattered to pieces, like the fragments of a broken mirror, reflecting the mirror image of my disappointment. As I entered my tiny room, I couldn't help but notice the deafening silence, interrupted only by the creaks and groans of the old, worn-out door, which seemed to be screaming, "Get out while you still can." The minuscule balcony, barely the size of a postage stamp, stared back at me, a constant reminder that I had made a grave mistake. But, I thought, perhaps the food would be the redeeming quality of this establishment. Alas, my hopes were dashed against the rocks of despair, like a fragile seashell crushed beneath the weight of an insensitive giant. The menu, a laundry list of uninspired, mass-produced dishes, read like a blueprint for gastronomic catastrophe. The food, if you could even call it that, was an affront to the senses, a cacophony of textures, temperatures, and flavors that assaulted my palate like a merciless dictator. The service, if one could even call it that, was abysmal. The staff, seemingly plucked from the depths of a poorly managed workforce, stumbled about, like sleepwalkers in a trance, completely oblivious to the needs of their patrons. It was as if they were trying to break the world record for most instances of eye contact avoidance, leaving me feeling like a ghost, invisible and ignored. But what about the cleanliness, you ask? Oh, dear reader, it was a ticking time bomb, waiting to unleash a biohazard upon unsuspecting guests. The rooms, supposedly sanitized, reeked of stale air and yesterday's memories, while the bathrooms, a porcelain cemetery of forgotten dreams, lay in a state of disarray, akin to a war zone. I felt like a pawn in a game of corporate negligence, a mere statistic in the grand tapestry of customer dissatisfaction. The management, it seemed, had adopted a policy of benign neglect, content to collect payment while ignoring the pleas of their patrons. As I lay in bed, my mind racing with the injustices of it all, I couldn't help but wonder, how could they do this to people? Don't they have a conscience? Are they aware of the emotional toll their incompetence takes on unsuspecting travelers? The answers, much like the truth, remained elusive, lost in the labyrinth of Lucida Beach Hotel Kemer's bureaucratic red tape. All I was left with was the bitter taste of disappointment, a lingering sense of sadness that refused to subside, like the ebbing tide of a defeated soul. And so, dear friends, I implore you, don't make the same mistake I did. Don't fall prey to the false promises of this establishment. Trust me, and the chorus of disgruntled voices that echo through the halls of the internet, for we are the victims of Lucida Beach Hotel Kemer's collective ineptitude. Isn't it time someone held them accountable for their transgressions? Shouldn't we, as consumers, demand better? The answers, it seems, are as clear as the writing on the wall, a warning sign, boldly proclaiming, "Abandon all hope, ye who enter here." What do you think, dear friends? Have you had a similar experience? Share your stories, your pain, and your outrage in the comments below. Together, we can create a chorus of discontent, a symphony of dissatisfaction that echoes across the internet, a beacon of warning to those who would dare ignore the pleas of their patrons. Let us rise up, dear friends, and take a stand against the Lucida Beach Hotel Kemer's egregious abuse of power. Let us be the voice of the voiceless, the champions of accountability, and the defenders of the downtrodden. For together, we can create a world where establishments like this are held accountable for their actions, and the consumer is treated with the respect and dignity they deserve. What's your take on this, dear friends? The reality of businesses near Lucida Beach Hotel Kemer. If you're staying at Lucida Beach Hotel Kemer, prepare yourself, because the businesses around here, they're not great. At all. Let's start with shopping. The shops near Lucida Beach Hotel Kemer are, to put it gently, a tourist's nightmare. Overpriced, pushy, and sometimes outright deceptive. Take Kemer Shopping Center, for example. Visitors describe it as a place where you'll be aggressively upsold cheap products at ridiculous prices. Some even say they felt trapped inside, like the doors only open one way, in. And if you try to leave without buying something, good luck. The reviews paint a picture of a place that exists solely to drain wallets, not to provide a pleasant shopping experience. Then there's the massage scene. Or should I say, the phantom massage scene. Lotus Massage Room has more complaints about its non-existence than actual massages. People show up to the address listed, only to find nothing. No sign, no business, just confusion. Others report calling the number, only to hear that it's disconnected. And if you do somehow make contact, some reviewers claim they were asked for payment up front, then blocked when they refused. It's less of a relaxation center and more of a mystery, one you don't want to solve. Now, restaurants. Oh, the restaurants. Merhaba Garden Restaurant is a perfect example of why you should never trust Google ratings blindly. The food? Disappointing. The prices? Astronomical. One visitor described calamari that tasted like plastic, while another paid €130 for a meal that barely resembled what was ordered. And let's not forget the classic tourist trap move, adding items to the bill that were never requested. It's not just bad food, it's an expensive lesson in skepticism. But if you think that's bad, wait until you hear about the nightlife. Club Inferno Mania Kemer is less of a club and more of a, well, Inferno. But not the fun kind. The kind where you pay €25 for a cocktail, only to realize there's no dance floor, just a sea of standing tables and security guards who seem more like bouncers at a high-stakes scam operation. Some people report being charged different entry fees, others say their drinks mysteriously disappeared from their tables. And if you're hoping for a night of dancing? Forget it. The music stops every few minutes for a performance, turning what should be a club into a bizarre, overpriced spectacle. And then there's Casa La Luna Kemer, a restaurant that somehow manages to be both expensive and terrible. The pizza? So thin it could double as a tortilla. The service? Slow, indifferent, and at times, downright hostile. One reviewer waited nearly an hour for spaghetti, only to be told they had to pay for it even though they never got to eat it. Another described shrimp so overcooked they could have been used as building materials. So what's the takeaway here? The businesses near Lucida Beach Hotel Kemer are, unfortunately, a mixed bag, leaning heavily toward the bad side. Overpriced, underwhelming, and sometimes outright deceptive. If you're staying here, do your research, ask locals for recommendations, and maybe, just maybe, pack some snacks. Because in this area, the only thing more common than disappointment is the feeling that you've been taken for a ride. And if you do venture out, keep your wits about you. Because around here, the real attraction isn't the food, the shopping, or the nightlife, it's the art of avoiding a bad time. Okay, so I was looking into things, you know, around Lucida Beach Hotel Kemer. Just because. And it's not great, honestly. Businesses here, like, they sometimes aren't what they seem. It's depressing, really. Like, there's this thing that happened near Ginuk, that's pretty close to Lucida Beach Hotel Kemer, right? They found a cave full of fake gold. Actual plaster, painted gold. Can you believe it? Apparently, these guys were paying people to dig for it. They even had cameras set up to make it look legit, like a real treasure hunt. 4 people, wasting their time, their money, for painted rocks. They probably felt so stupid afterwards, didn't they? Like, completely humiliated. I bet they tried to get the police involved, of course, but getting money back from scammers? Good luck with that. Those guys, the ones with the fake gold? They probably got arrested, but someone else will always come along to do something like this. It's depressing, really. And then, this other thing. It's like, people are selling fake treasure maps around Antalya, which isn't far from Lucida Beach Hotel Kemer, you know. Really detailed maps, old-looking. They tell people there's hidden treasure in the countryside. Then, when people start digging, the scammers offer to help them sell the artifacts they find, which are just more painted metal. Over 50 million lira stolen. 50 million. Seriously, who falls for that? But, you know, if you're on holiday, excited about history, maybe you would. Maybe you'd want to believe. I feel bad for those people, spending their holiday money on nothing. They probably went home feeling totally ripped off, and maybe even a little embarrassed. The people who did this? The police caught a bunch of them, but I bet there are more out there, already planning their next scam. It just feels hopeless. Businesses near Lucida Beach Hotel Kemer, they seem to have this thing for fake treasure, don't they? It's wild. It's like, if you go exploring near the hotel, looking for adventure, just be careful. Don't trust anything that seems too good to be true, okay? Because, honestly, it probably is. And it's just sad. Very sad.